Alright, what's up guys? It's Rob Den, a new video here. Today we're making this not quite about politics, but we're going to talk about something that's closely similar to politics, and that is intellectual property copyrights. Now here's the thing about copyrights. You file it, you get the rights. But the whole thing about it is that we don't want the poor people to make the money, or we don't want any competition, but the USA is all about competition. So here is what I'm talking about. You come up with a great idea, you studied for 10,000 hours at home, you didn't go outside for a long time, you went outside once and then you talked about your great idea with like a random stranger. Or you spoke to it to yourself and someone had used their humanity and picked it up and they said, hey, that's a great idea. Well, now this person is going to file a copyright, and that person is going to own that file, the filing of a copyright, and your idea is going to be lost because that idea is particularly going to be a great investment idea, and that idea is going to turn into their own profit. So this is a whole game that the USA talks about, that is freedom of opportunity, and what you have you is more successful adventures and innuendos to success and prosperity. But in reality, it's just a big game. As we all know, it's called a game, and life is on the line. It goes so far as to taking sacrifices and the political agenda of murders and crime being stopped. So that goes by how sacrifices are being taken by a majority group of people who are wealthy, and then those crimes are listed as crimes and those people are stereotyped, and then it is then taken into account that these crimes have happened because of the sacrifices where one person becomes rich and successful until every single idea is exhausted. So then we choose particularly more favorable backgrounds. Like we would choose the Chinese as opposed to Americans, because the Chinese would be able to produce those ideas and give it to our nations at a cheaper rate. So if we give China this idea of having this great application that puts pictures on our walls through digital canvassing, and it projects different pictures of different sizes at momentous times, which is a great idea. I think they should definitely produce it. They would be able to sell it to India because someone has come up with the idea that an Indian guy or a Bangladeshi guy has said the idea is a good idea, so that they would invest in that country themselves, because the Indian guy was the idea guy, the Bangladeshi guy was the idea guy, and that way they would sell it, China would sell it for cheap. And we know the yuan is not too expensive compared to the dollar, so it would be a great investment. But more importantly, that would only work if like the projector would have like a screen or a nice wall to project it on. Maybe they could make a projector paint where they paint it on the wall. This would be a great idea, wouldn't it? Anyway, I think those are really great ideas. If you want to go on ahead and say that those are your ideas, I have this on video, so it's going to be copyrighted. If you do be successful in it, I might be able to sue you and I'll be able to get the money and quit YouTube forever, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Anyway, so these guys, they get really upset because they're not able to make the money anymore, and they then come up with another idea to work harder. But then there's really a large group of people who want to be rich and successful, and then they end up surveilling you, and they take your whole ideas away from you because they don't want you to be rich and successful, and they don't think your genes should be rich and successful because your genes don't have the background to the wealth or the technology, or your genes don't have the success of sexual appeal and things like that. Moreover, if you do think about the nonsense that goes in the USA, is basically you're not able to achieve any goals unless you have money. So the rich are usually getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and this disparity is getting larger and larger as we speak. Anyway, if you do like this video, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. And not to mention how there is quite a bit of competition where they find out the idea is from an Indian guy, and they'll say, hey, we don't want them to say that it's from an Indian guy, otherwise the Indian guy is going to start getting some money and some investments or some girlfriends. So there's also that they'll use their information of who has invented the idea or has come up with the idea, the intellectual property, and they'll say, oh, if it was an Indian guy, then we don't want that.